and welcome everyone joining me live today, this 24th day of March, and all of March is designated to Women's History Month. And I'm just loving the opportunities to acknowledge other women who have long since left this world, but have left their mark. And I'm here today with a friend, a colleague, Cathy Derksen. Hello, Cathy.
Hello, hello. How are you? Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining me. So, Cathy's joining us from Surrey, BC. She's a life and, oh, I got that wrong. Pardon me. She's an advisor. I'm so
Wealth and
sorry.
Success Advisor.
I got that one too many um, S's in my vocabulary on my tongue right now. I apologize for that. But Cathy's joining us from Surrey, BC. And who is it that you're honoring today, Cathy?
Well, I know she's been picked before, but she is dear to my heart. So I'm again picking Brene Brown. Dr. Brene Brown has had a huge impact on me over the last many years. And luckily she is still around and still adding new content and sharing more words of wisdom. So she's been very, very important to me.
So, how share with us, if you would, about how her work has impacted your life.
Well, so much of her work is around the idea of being courageous and vulnerable and really being authentic to who you are and not hiding or trying to fit in. That whole idea of belonging versus fitting in, and who are you really, and what gifts are you bringing. And for myself, over the last 10 years, I've been going through a lot of several major transitions in my life. So divorce, two career changes, major learning processes, going through all sorts of things with my kids. And just, I've had a lot of big challenges and transformations I've been going through. And her words of wisdom and just sort of continually bringing it back to just be who you are, share who you are, and have that courage to stand up and say what needs to be said and to act on those inspirations that you have. And so all of her books, I've got most of them on audiobook as well. And I just love going back over them over. And I love the fact that she reads her own audiobooks. So
Nice.
it's her voice, it's her intonations, and even in her newer ones, she's even adding new little comments and things that she says. Oh, these aren't in the book, but for you people that are listening, here's a different little example, or here's a. So I love her words of wisdom and how she's just so raw. Like there's
Yeah.
no frilly stuff. There's no, this is what I'm supposed to say. She's just real.
Right. I've loved her books too, and the first one I couldn't put it down until it was all done because it was just based on research, and I believe that Brene Brown has transformed in her own life because of her own research. You see her today; she looks very different, right?
Well, exactly. And it's funny how she kind of just got thrown into public life with her when she went in and did her first TED talk and thought it was just going to be a little local show. And suddenly the whole world knew about her. And it's like, okay, keep talking because we're listening now.
Well, that's someone who really comes from a place of teaching, and that it's selfless. She's just sharing what it is that she knows to be true, and she saw how not being true to yourself impacted people's lives in the most negative way. That, like you say, in integrity and being honest with self is, can be that thing that takes you to that new level in your life if you're just brave enough to show up for who you are.
And that's a huge part. And that's one of the things that I think now really applying some of her words of wisdom to where we are right now in life. And I find like some of her comments, her examples are also around numbing and her quotes around you can't numb the pain without numbing the joy as well. So you can't selectively numb. You're just, if we start numbing to cover up those pains or those stresses, then we're numbing life. And I think right now, going through COVID for the last few years and all the things that have impacted us, I find so many of us are numb. We're living life in this state of numbness. And I think that's what it was. It came about by there was so much stress, there was so much uncertainty. We just kind of put it in a box and put it to the side till things go back to normal. So I think her comments there, I think we really need to apply them right now. And that women in general, we need to take her words and recognize that it's our time right now to step up, say what needs to be said, be brave and vulnerable, and let's shift the world. Let's shift where we're at right now. There's just so much negative that we hear about, but if we focus more on the positive and recognizing the numbness that our culture is in right now, let's get out of it. I've actually created this new program called Snap Out of It that's all around recognizing the numbness. So let's get out of numb and back into action and passion and shift the world.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for saying that, because it's true. Any amount of healing only happens when you meet the fear of it or whatever you think it's going to be, if you meet it head on, because the more you avoid it or sugarcoat it, that's like, oh, everything's going to go back to normal. That's such a lie, because we are forever changed. And so let's embrace it, because there is good coming from it. And you as a coach, you understand that so deeply, because the greater the adversity and the more that you meet it, the greater the gift on the other side. Right?
And looking for those, like looking for that silver lining and looking for the opportunities and where the positive things are, because you won't see them if you don't look for them in so many cases.
Exactly. So set your sights high on that new vision. And thank you so much, Cathy. I just want to honor you today as a courageous woman out there doing what your soul, your purpose is driving you to do, and just to get out there and share your message with the world. And you're a leader and inspiring other women by finding that courage to be the better version of who you are.
Well, thank you. And thank you for putting this all together and having that idea and following through with that inspiration to have this collection of little interviews and talking about other women in history and currently. And
yeah. Oh, thank you so much. It does all come from seeing that this is a topic that needs to be talked about more often. Reaching out to a girlfriend in business today, right now, maybe that could use those words, or just the kindness of you reaching out and supporting, empowering other women by acknowledging that we are in this together as a race of people, humans, first of all, and to use our skills and abilities as human and as women, because we're unique in that, to make our lives better, and therefore we become that microcosm in the macrocosm. We can create massive change if we act on it.
Yes, yes. And I love the quote that, the rising tide lifts all boats. So let's lift each other.
You got it. Thanks so much. Have yourself an amazing rest of your March, Women's History Month.